One of my favorites. You're going to learn something, which is rare on this show. Welcome back. Time for some travel talk. This is, you don't learn a lot on this show. This is one of the times where, because I love him and I love travel and you do too, we're going to do some travel talk. Delta has fashioned itself as the country's premium airline. But look, you all know this, like any business, the travel industry is competitive, and United Airlines is making improvements because, they want Delta's crown. Here to talk about that, we got travel deals and more from Thrifty Traveler. It's Mr. Thrifty, Jared, everybody. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, good to see you, Jason.
I realize you and I geek out on this, but I think this is fascinating because it's going to have dividends. It's going to have results for the consumer. Explain why, because Delta is the premium. Why is United coming for Delta, and what does it mean?
Overall, it's a beautiful thing for all of us travelers. Like, the more competition, the lower prices, the better amenities that we have. So yeah, Delta has positioned itself as the premium airline in the United States. And United's not so happy about it. So they're offering more and more things, and I will be honest, and of course this is my opinion, Delta's kind of just getting a little too comfortable at their space at the top, charging too much, and I mean, we should all be free agents when we travel. We shouldn't just fly Delta. We shouldn't just fly American or United.
No matter if we're a hub city like we are, and
we are.
Our friends in Detroit, where the Jason show's now in Detroit, even if we're a hub city, you're right, we should be, and that's a sports analogy that I actually understand, we should be a free agent.
Yes, absolutely. And especially in hub cities like Detroit or Minneapolis, a lot of times other airlines besides just the primary airline are the cheapest. So you always got to shop. You always got to use Google Flights to be searching and comparing prices amongst airlines.
You know where we're in Chicago, United hub, main hub. You know where I'm noticing United really coming for Delta, and Delta is resting on their laurels. The cabins, their interiors, the look. United is really upping their game and spending millions to upgrade their planes. Am I right on that?
No, absolutely. And especially if you're doing international, like business class with like a lie flat seat, the things that we all want to travel in, United's investing a lot, where Delta has a lot of new aircraft, but they also have half the fleet is very old.
Yeah. Let me tell you an example, and you're going to laugh at me, and go ahead. I just got back from Hawaii, and I flew on United, and here's the funny part. I had the best cheese enchilada I've ever had on an airplane. And I had that on United. I get on Delta, and I had a thing of meat in front of me that looked like camel or something. I don't know what
Mystery
it was.
Meat.
It was some sort of weird meat in front of me. But United, and I look around, and all joking aside, I looked at Colin and I went, United is up in their game.
Yep.
Let's move on. Let's go back to Delta. New year, new rules. You guys wrote, go to thriftytraveler.com extensively about this. Delta Sky Club tightening their rules a little bit.
I mean, business for Delta is booming. People want to get into those Delta Sky Club lounges, so they've had to restrict access. So this is going to be starting in February. You know, if you have that Amex Delta Reserve card or the Amex Platinum Charge card, you now can't get unlimited access every single time you fly Delta. You're limited to 15 or 10, trips per year. And like, if you're a road warrior, you travel a lot for work. I mean, that might sound like a lot, but it's actually not very much. So it just kind of, Delta and Amex are kind of removing some value just because they've become so popular.
Do you think Delta feels the heat on the back of their neck?
From those
United.
lounges?
And
for sure.
You do.
And if they don't,
they're foolish.
They're foolish.
Yeah. Let's talk some. And I'll tell you. Let me promote you again. Jared has a great. We don't have time to get into it. A little inside baseball. Jared and Thrifty Traveler has some tricks to give you possibly a few more visits to the Delta Lounge. You have a good little workaround that I think will work. thriftytraveler.com. Pull out your crystal ball, your travel crystal ball, some travel predictions. Let's talk domestic fares. Overall, I know you can't predict the future, up or down?
Domestic fares up if you're flying in an economy cabin, but if you're flying at the front, first class, domestically down.
Why?
So
that's interesting.
This is like the strange thing with airline flight pricing is, so last summer, like the airlines made a bunch of mistakes. A lot of the airlines, especially like Spirit and Frontier, where they had too much capacity, too many seats open, and they had to lower fares to get people into them. Now we're going to see airlines are very smart. They're going to do the opposite. So they're going to shrink things down and then try to raise prices. But there's going to be a lot of new premium seats. So we're maybe not going to see exactly the same thing on those front seats. The first and maybe premium economy seats might be a little bit cheaper.
So no matter where, it could be Montana, it could be you're just seeing because I've seen it.
Overall, I think we'll see things increase a little bit. But internationally, I think we're still going to see cheap fares. Cheap fares are always out there.
Yeah.
It's just like broadly over all the tens of thousands of flights, I think things will tick up domestically a little bit.
We have a whole other segment on the other side. I'll end how I began. It'll be a perfect end and a segue. Speaking of deals, you guys have posted, there's a lot of deals to my beloved Hawaii. You've been posting like crazy. I know we've been looking at them, so go to thriftytraveler.com if you want to. There we go. More travel deals when we come back. Back in a moment, everybody. Yeah, like Jeff saw, $400 or something for main cabin for Honolulu.
Let's make it.
Welcome back. More with Jared. Fascinating. We got spring break deals coming up in just a little bit. Buddy, before I left, I have a few topics before we get to deals that I want to bounce through, if you don't mind. Yeah. One more Delta that I saved on purpose. Big announcement that will affect a lot of people. They're ending their partnership with Lyft and going to Uber. Yeah. What does that mean for Delta customers?
So, shortly, I think in a few months, like if you're firing up the Lyft app to get a few extra Sky Miles when you're going to the airport, you're now going to want to transition to Uber. And I think most people kind of shift in between.
Whoever's
Uber.
Cheaper, yeah.
Right. So, if you really want to get your Sky Miles, go with Uber. But again, I would go with what's ever cheaper.
And are you finding another topic, redeeming miles, getting even harder in 2025?
It's going to, this is just the airlines don't want you to redeem miles for value.
No.
They want you to get as little as you possibly can.
That's not going to change.
It's not going to change, no.
Anyway, okay, another topic. We've heard about it since, I don't know, God was in diapers. This Real ID nonsense, is it finally going to be enforced, and what does it mean?
So Real ID, when Real ID was passed as a law, I was 19 years old. I'm almost 40. Next year, Real ID...
I don't know what I'm more shocked by. The fact that was that long, or you're almost 40. I don't know, because you look like you're 20.
This is a joke. Real ID next year will be old enough to buy a beer. So, and for those
with
of you
their
guys,
Real ID.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Real ID is just this like kind of all of the states are supposed to conform to this federal legislation. So you have like whatever, you have a little star on your ID. And the airlines have been saying, if you don't have this, you won't be able to get through security. And every year, for 20 years, it's just been pushed and pushed, and they pushed it again.
They pushed it again.
Yes, so don't worry about it.
Okay, let's get to some spring break deals. And again, we're all over the country now. What do we have? You have some from for some of our cities.
Yes, Minneapolis to Iceland, 462 round trip on Icelandair through June. June is an amazing time to go to Iceland. It's like 24 hours of sunlight, great spot, nonstop. Seattle to Miami for 177. Again, Seattle to Miami for $177. That's a crazy distance.
That's a long flight, too.
Through March, and listen, on Delta, I don't even know. That's a crazy deal. Again, go on Google Flights to book these. Detroit through Phoenix, $196 through April, nonstop on American. Chicago to Dublin, $450 through April on Icelandair. Orlando to Belize for $414 through June on American. Milwaukee to Tulum, Mexico, the new airport just south of Cancun in Tulum, $350 through May on Delta. There's still lots of great deals out there.
Is it now, let's talk two things. Spring break, is it too late for the folks to, even these, should they be booking? I know we just got through the holidays, but when should they be booking their spring break things? Right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be looking, honestly, you can book up to 11 months out. That's when you set up, go to Google Flights, set up those price alerts for possible dates 11 months out, and you'll get emails if you have a Gmail account, and it'll let you know when prices go up or down. When you see a big drop, book it.
Should they worry about summer deals already? Or?
Yeah. Always.
Really?
You gotta always be
Yeah,
on this.
I
know. Jason, I know. It feels like, I know, you get through the holidays, it's so much, but yeah, you gotta be, if you wanna save money, and you have very specific dates and destination, you gotta be very proactive. But there still are dates, for March and April, cheap dates out there.
Our last minute, again, we'll end how we began, not specifically about Delta, but the Sky Miles and redeeming and value and this and that. Ultimately, generally speaking, and you can read specifics at thriftytraveler.com, is it worth for these folks to bother joining these loyalty programs? Generally speaking, is there value for John Q. Public to even try to be loyal anymore?
For loyalty, no. But for signing up for credit cards and getting a big sign-up bonus from like a Delta Amex card or a Chase United card, getting that sign-up bonus and then using it for free travel, yeah, that's what my entire business, that's the reason why I quit my corporate job to do this for the last decade, is all around the credit card side. Now, like flying Delta just to get Sky Miles, I would say no. Then that's where you become a free agent. But chase those credit card sign-up bonuses as you can. Try to avoid credit card debt, of course. Being responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing, a very important thing. I talk about signing up for credit cards like it's nothing, but it's a serious thing. But if you can get those, pay off the card, get those points, travel for free, that is everything.
I've said it 400 times every time he's here. I call it the game. I call it Jared's game. Colin and I have done this, and it's the reason I know people go, you travel a lot. We do it rather cheaply because of you. We play the game with points, and we use a certain credit card at a certain point of year to gain points, and then we stay at hotels for free or reduced. It's all because of this guy right here. Jared, everybody. For more travel news and deals, head to thriftytraveler.com. We'll be right back. Back in a moment, friends. Back in a moment.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Did you pay cash for that play?